A schnitzel cow.
Schnitzel cow. Yeah.
Let the poor guy eat. Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, the class studying apples from the orchard for the second time, beginning after Pesach 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. We are up to page 693.
95.
4 or 5.
694. We're at 694. You are right. But I really do need to. We didn't do this last week. So I'm going to review. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's good to see all you guys here. Okay. So first Hashem instructed Moshe to count all Bnei Israel, but not Levi. Then he said he should count the 3 clans of Levi, and each one had its own instruction. He gave him instruction to count the Kehas, the middle son, gave instruction to count Gershon, the oldest, and then to count Merari, the youngest. The Jewish people were counted from the age of 20 to 60. The Levites were counted from the age of 30 to 50. The Torah, when it says to count, it uses a strange expression, noso es rosh, lift the head. And that means like to take a head count. It only says it for the first 2 clans, but not for the third one, Kahas and Gershon. For Kahas and Merari, the first and the third, it says according to their families and the house of their fathers. But for Gershon, it says according to the house of their fathers and their families. So it switches the order. We said there are states of Gvura. What are 5 states of Gvura? It means Gvura within as a subsphere of Chesed. Gvura as a subsphere of Gvura. Gvura, a subsphere of Hod, Netzach, and Hod, and Yesod. That's 5 states of Gvura. And these coalesce in Yesod, and they get transferred to Malchus. So Malchus is made up of these severities, Gvura, and they need to be tempered. And we also know that Levi is associated with Gvura. We said that the general population of Israel is associated with Zeir Anpin, but Levi is associated with Gvura, which is going to form Malchus. Levi itself, he points out here, Levi is not Malchus, but it is Gvura before it goes into Malchus. And that's why it's still considered a male component. Now, there are 5 states of Gvura that are divided into 2 categories. I guess there are 2 ways of it happens in 2 it gets expressed or manifested in 2 ways. Each one has 3 parts. Now remember, what we're talking about here is the tribe of Levi. Nosos Rosh, count Levites. Take a head count or lift their heads. This is also, and so they are, Levi is the 5 Gvuras that are going to form or build Malchus, Nukva. So I think here it talks about how Malchus gets built through this. And when we say lift the head, we're going to say that they're going to build Malchus, maybe temper it also. I'm not sure. I'm sweetening. So the first way of looking at it, there are 3 subcategories. The first category, R, that's pretty good, Chaim, is the states of Gvura and Malchus. It says like this. The primary aspect of any stage is in Ze'er Anpin, the emotions. So within the emotions, and I think it means within Malchus, this is the subspheres of Gvura within the Chesed, Gvura, Tferes, I think it means of Malchus. Then where does it come from? They come from the intellect, the crown of Gvura. That's the state of Gvura within intellect. And we say specifically Das. And then where they're going to, they coalesce in Yesod to be transferred to Malchus. I don't think to be transferred to Malchus. I think it means this is all within Malchus. So within Malchus, there is the center of gravity. Did I write that? The center of gravity within the Gvuras in Zerampin. There is the Gvura as it exists in Das, in the intellect, and then Gvura as it exists in Yesod, which is where it all comes together at the end of Malchus. I don't want to fix that yet. I had a lot of trouble figuring this out. Okay, this is where we stopped. This is where we stopped last week. Now we go to the second card. Are you all with me?
Can I ask a question?
Only yes,
scroll-
but I hope I know the answer.
Are you saying, if you scroll back up, I can quote it better. It's in number 6. Are you saying in number 2 there that Zeranpin gets its emotions from Nukva?
It says the Gevura within Das, within intellect. That's
The
what it says.
emotions in Zeranpin come from the crown of Gevura, which is the states of Gevura in the intellect, specifically Das of Nukva.
Das of Nukva. Let's see what it says.
So, but Das of Nukva is lower than Zeranpin.
One moment.
From the states of Gevura and Zeranpin, they coalesce and you saw it. It must be Das of Zeranpin.
No, it's Das of Nukva. It's Nukva.
Because Nukva is the part
It's Nukva in Das.
It says this in one. There are 2 texts here. It says it in one of the texts, not in the other one, and not in the translation. Exactly what it means, I'm not 100% sure.
But it's the Nukva in Das.
Is there Nukva in Das, or is Nukva
I think we learned that there is.
Okay.
I think we learned that there is. There are 2 aspects within Das. There's a Chesed in Das. There's a Gvura in Das. Bina is also Nukva, as you know. Bina is a feminine
right.
sphere.
But there's a Nukva in Das. It's just the language is a little fuzzy, but it's the Nukva in Das.
If it had said Malchus in Das, but
Malchus in Das, that's good, even better.
Because I thought Nukva was the name of the actual.
This is the sub-Sephirot in Das, and the sub-Sephirot in Das is Nukva.
I'm not 100% sure, but there is, and the Nukva is it seems like some of the things have Nukva. Like even if there's a counterpart, Nukva Dika counterpart.
Okay, well that's
okay.
Good.
But you're asking technical thing, and I'm not clear on it.
I just didn't. I guess it was the word Nukva that seemed like it was backwards, going in the wrong direction.
I say it is in one of the Hebrew texts, but not in the other.
Okay, thank
you. So now the second category. The first category is when you look at Malchus. When you look at Malchus, I think it was in Malchus. You have 3 sections of Gvuros. You have the Gvura as it exists in its source, in the intellect. You have Gvura in the body of the Sphira, and then you have Gvura at the bottom. Let's say how it feeds into the next thing, or at the bottom of it. This category says differently. This is more like with time. The second category, R, there you go again, R, is the states of Gvura within Malchus. Okay, within Malchus, the feminine Sphira. The first set of 5 Gvuras, and it has more to do with time. First, it gets 5 Gvuras from Zerampin, as Malchus is being formed. Then, when Malchus is formed, the second set is given after it's complete, and this is considered the first time that Zerampin interacts with Malchus. And then the third set of Gvura is every subsequent time that they interact. Zerampin transmits Gvura to Malchus. So it seems to me that the first category, number 6, has more to do with the 3 locations of Gvura within Malchus. And number 7 is 3 times that Zerampin transmits the Gvura into Malchus. Okay? I guess it's one way to look at it. Any questions? Again, that I can answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we're going to begin 694 near the bottom. Alan,
Yep.
can you read?
From the second category, right?
That's it.
Yes, the second category.
The second category has 3 subcategories of its own. 1, the 5 states of Gevura given to her when her Partsuf is first formed and completed. These are given to her for the construction of her body and skeleton. Her first set of 5 states of Gevura given to her after her body has been completed. Zer Anpin transfers these states of Gevura to her via her Yesod in their first sexual intercourse, which is what turns her into a vessel. And 3, an additional new set of 5 states of Gevura that he transfers to her via her Yesod in their subsequent intercourse. Whenever they couple after the first time, he gives her a new set of 5 states of Gevura. This second category of Gevura states relates to the intrinsic construction of the parts of itself and the insemination by Zeranpin. The first category could be seen as being aspects of all 3 subcategories of the second category. That is, when Nukva is first constructed, she's given Gevura aspects in her Das, her Midos, and her Yesod. And the same is true whenever she couples with Zer Anpin.
Okay, and remember, when we say that they interact, it means that Zerampin and Nukva relate relate to each other that is compared to the interaction, marital interaction between male and female. Marital interaction, I don't mean that they're throwing stuff at each other, yelling and screaming. So that's a similar thing. So it seems like one way to understand it would be the first category is more about the place where the place within Malchus where the Gvuras are, and the second one is more a type of time that to begin building the Malchus, constructing the Malchus, and then the first time they interact, and then every time they interact after that.
Space and time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Okay. Number 8. So now the 3 sets of Gvura correspond to the 3 families of Levi, Gershon, Kahas, and Merari. The author, Rabbi Chaim Vital, did not remember if they correspond to the first category of Gvura or the second category, but as the text continues, it appears that Rabbi Vital assumes they correspond to the first category. Or he explains that. Okay, go ahead, Alan.
The 3 clans of the Levium, Gershon, Kas, and Merari, manifest the 3 subcategories. But I, Rabbi Chaim Vital, do not remember whether they manifest the subcategories of the first category or the second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to get into a lot of gematria. So if you guys like gematria, it's your day.
Maybe it'll be easier than the Hasidus, than the Kabbalistic.
It is. It will be a little bit conflated, but
Not
that's
usually
okay.
that way, but it seems that way today.
Oh yeah, and there's something, whatever, a little bit, the Chassidus that they explain there also is not clear.
Mhm.
I did my best. So there's a pasuk in Yechezkel that describes a vision of 6 men and a 7th coming to destroy Jerusalem. It's a prophetic vision. Regarding the 7th, it says, one man among them was clothed in linen with a scribe's slate at his hips. Some say that the 7th refers to the attribute of justice itself, Gevura, because they're coming to destroy Jerusalem. The simple meaning is that it's like that he's there coming with the army. A military photographer or a military recorder. He's right comes to the slate. That's a simple meaning. But midrashically, some say it refers to the attribute of justice, Gevura. Others say the angel Gabriel or the prophet Yirmiyah. In any case, it says he came with a scribe slate, which is Keset HaSofer. Our book, by the way, translates it as a scribe's flask. Now, over there, apparently, it's pretty obvious that there's severities happen. There's gevuras going on. They're on their way to, in the prophetic vision, to destroy Jerusalem. Okay, that's not chesed. Other than that, I don't see any connection to what we're learning here. However, the word for slate, which is keset, has a gematria of 560, and that's why we want the word. The same as Gershon, the family of Levi, which is 559 plus the kola. I did it in my head. Gershon is 3 plus 200 plus 300 plus 50 equals. Did we get it right?
No, you're short.
We're short. I've always been
You're
short.
short by 6.
There you go. 1,
Well,
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 3 plus 200 equals 559 plus the kolel. So again, word for slate, keset, is a gematria of 560, which is the same as Gershon. Okay, why that's important for the slate, again, I don't know. Maybe it'll say here. It also corresponds, the word 560 also corresponds to the 5 letters of the alphabet that has final letters. Mem 40, Nun 50, Tzadik 90, Pei 80, and Chaf 20. They're known as Mansapach.
right.
The gematria of these 5 letters is 280, and there is different information you could find on them and the significance. Since each letter has a regular form and a final form, the gematria is doubled to 560. Then these 5 letters are associated with gevura, with severity. So from here we see that the Gershon, which is 559 plus the kol 560, has the same gematria as Mansapach, doubled, the 5 final letters, and as Keset, the slate of the scribe who came in the prophetic vision to destroy Jerusalem. Okay, so Alan, Gershon's not on tonight.
Yeah.
He's ducking rockets. You all heard about Gershon, his daughter's landlord, the porch by his daughter's landlord was hit by a rocket.
That was a couple of weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's staying a few minutes away.
Hmm.
Okay, Alan, go ahead.
The numerical value of Gershon, 559, is the same with the kollel as that of the word for flask, keset, in the phrase the flask of the scribe. His clan manifests the 5 states of Gevurah indicated by the 5 final letters Mem, Nun, Sadik, Pei, and Chaf, whose combined numerical value is 280. Since these letters have 2 forms, their numerical value may be doubled, giving 560, which again is the numerical value for the word for flask. The main manifestation of the 5 states of Gevurah is the 5 organs of speech in the mouth: the throat, the palate, the teeth, the lips, and the tongue. These are seen as 5 dams that stop or give form to the amorphous breath rising from the lungs. Since they limit, restrain, form, and give definition to the breath, they are seen as 5 states or aspects of Gevurah. In the alphabet, this phenomenon is reflected in the 5 letters that have final forms, that is, special forms when these letters appear at the end of a word. Thus, they are allegorically like the flask that holds and contains the ink.
Okay, so that's why he says that's the connection to the flask. It could be the connection is that it's Gevurah, severity, destruction of Jerusalem. Amorphous isn't the same meaning as amorous, is it?
No.
No,
No? Sure? Okay,
sure.
just checking.
Very different.
Amorphous goes better with glob, right? An amorphous glob.
Yeah,
Nebulous.
nebulous.
Okay. The clan of Gershon corresponds to the second set of the first category. This was the 5 states of Gvura within Chesed, Gvura, Tveres, Netzach, and Hod. That was a mistake. Form the same sphere as the Malchus, or that is within Malchus. When they descend, they bounce back up in a process called Or Choser, which we translate usually as reflected light. So they, okay. I'm sorry, I lost it. Getting a call from Australia. When they descend, they bounce back up in a process called Or Choser. So these 5 states of Gvura leave, they come from Zerampin, they go into Malchus, they go, and then they bounce upward. And when they bounce upward, or they also call it reflected light, it's much stronger. It ricochets. That's a good word. It's like it ricochets off the bottom and it bounces back.
I
And
think
that's
of it as the feminine version, the feminine light.
what?
The feminine light. The responsive
Oh,
returning.
it's like an echo. Okay, you call out, your voice does whatever. You go to a place with a strong echo, then you can start a landslide. There's a landslide as a snow, what do you call it?
Avalanche.
An avalanche, a snow avalanche, a couple weeks ago. Where they climbed. I don't know if you saw the news. An Everest, like at Everest.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So there, anyway. So how powerful? What creates this avalanche is the echo. So echo, the echo reflected light. What I call it? Is
Return.
hmm?
Chabad likes to translate it as returning light.
Returning light. Yeah, returning light. What I just had a good word. I forgot what it was.
Um,
It's much stronger when it's reflected light. So the lights bounce back up and says they actually ascend to Keser of Malchus, and they spread throughout Malchus. Okay, and I don't write this stuff, folks. I just report it. Okay, Alan, the clan of Gershon.
The clan of Gershon is, as we said, one of the three subcategories. It comprises the 5 states of Gevurah that spread throughout the body of Nukva. As is known, these 5 states of Gevurah descend rapidly to the Yesod of Nukva and rebound upward from that level as reflected light. In this process, this light reaches her Kesser, thus spreading through her entire partza. This is similar to how the states of Chesed descend into the Yesod of Zerampin and rebound upward as reflected light. Although above, Rabbi Chaim Vital said he was not sure if the 3 clans of Levium correspond to the subcategories of the first or second category. Here he seems to take it for granted that they correspond to those of the first category. The reflected light here is the feminine waters described above.
Mhm.
In the process of being reflected, the light that ricochets off Yesod gains the power of Yesod together with the residual power of its own descent. This enables it to reascend to a point higher than its point of origin.
Hmm.
Reaching Kesser means that the overall will of her entire being is overtaken and permeated with the will to be united with Zeranpin.
Ah, okay. Sounds nice. Before we said that Levi is actually it's how the Gvuras exist within Zerampin before it goes to Malchus. So it could be, that's why I think I wrote it this way, that it could be that it's like not really within Malchus yet. It's all setting the stage for what's going to happen in Malchus and speaks about it from that point of view. But not clear. Next, the clan of Gershon corresponds, we did that, 11. Of the 5 states of Gvura, the first 3, Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes, are hidden. The last 2, Netzach and Hod, are revealed. Generally, the first 3 are considered contained, like for a person within himself, and the last 2 are how it's expressed to others. He doesn't say that here. The lower 3, no, the first 3 do not bounce. I think it says that the first 3 don't bounce back up to Kesser. Jim, would you like to continue?
As we have also explained, the first 3 states of Gevurah of Nukva are hidden. Only the latter 2 states, or Netzach and Hod, are revealed. These latter states are the only ones that ascend in this process and thus become revealed.
Yeah,
It
so it
will
looks like
be-
it says the upper 3 don't bounce back up, but the lower 2 do.
That's what it says.
That's okay. That's what I understood.
It will be recalled that the 5 states of Gevurah correspond to and are manifest in the 5 Sifirot from Chesed to Hod. The Arizal explains elsewhere that when the 5 states of Gevurah become manifest in these Sifirot of Nukva, they do not do so in a uniform manner. Rather, the first 3, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet, remain clothed within a sheath, which derives from the Yesod of Zeranpin. Only the latter 2, Netzach and Hod, enter Yesod exposed. Psychologically, we would say this means the light at the level of the first 3 states of Gevurah, those of the 3 primary emotions, retain a certain measure of consciousness of their source within Zeranpin. This precludes them from truly being vested in the Yesod of Nukva, since a primary emotion is too much matter of feeling to be diverted to the path leading towards practical action. Only Netzach and Hod, which are already more action-oriented than the first three states, can be said to truly enter and be actively present within Yesod. The other three are there, but they're cloaked by the memory of their origin. Thus, only Netzach and Hod are touched directly by the identity and power of Yesod, the drive for fulfillment, and thus experience the rebounding energy, sending them back up to the Kesser of Nukva as above.
Okay. Yeah, the experience rebounding energy is only for the lower two, Netzach and Hod. Now, it seems to me, again, it's a lot that wasn't clear. It seems to me that the point of counting Gershon, the families of Levi, was to get the upper three to also bounce back up and be exposed. That we'll see that soon. So number 12. As we said, the Torah uses we said last time we learned that the Torah uses an unusual expression to count people, naso es rosh, which literally means lift the head. This expression fits the explanation of Kabbalah. It refers to the first three subspheres within Malchus, the Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes, that are hidden and do not bounce up to Keser. They need to be lifted. They need to bounce upward like the lower two. And that's what it means, lift the head, uncover them, and get them to be Ar Choser, the reflected light. I had a good word before, not boomerang. Okay, since there are three, and each one is comprised of 10 subspheres, the Levites are counted from the age of 30, unlike the Jewish people that are counted from the age of 20 to 60. And since there are 5 states of Gvura in total, the Levites are counted up to age 50. That's where you get the age 30 to 50 for the 3 hidden Gvuras, and then the total number of Gvuras, 3 and 5. Okay, Jim, continue. 96.
This is the mystical meaning of the verse, lift up the head of the sons of Gershon. Counting them is referred to as lifting up their head, alluding to their ascent in order to shine. As we've explained, it is for this reason as well that only those who attained the age of 30 were counted, for only such individuals derive from the upper 3 covered states of Gevurah, each of which comprises 10 substates, giving 30 aspects or years. These are the only ones that need light shone upon them, and therefore only those Levites 30 years old and older are counted. God commanded Moses to count all the Levites between the ages of 30 and 50 for the purpose of service in the temple. The wording for this command in Hebrew, however, is split into 2 clauses. The first, from the age of 30 and higher, implies only those who have attained at least 30 years were counted. The fact that only those over 30-year-olds or under 50 were in fact counted is not made clear until the second clause, until the age of 50 is stated. Thus, the verse seems to apply that the main factor is being over 30, being under 50 is only an afterthought. By counting the 30-year-old Levites, we are forcing them to participate in the rebounding ascent as well. In this way, the Gevurah states of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet can also experience illumination, naturally experienced by the Netzach Hod states.
Okay, continue.
However, since there are in total 5 states of Gevurah, Levites are counted up to the age of 50, for they all form one unit.
Okay, good, thanks. So this is why it says lift the head. This is why they are counted from the age of 30 to 50. Remember, we're talking right now about only the oldest, Gershon. So, and he says this is one of the states within the category of Gur. For Gershon, it says count them to Levei Savosam Mishpachosam, to their father's house, to the house of their, I'm sorry, to the house of their fathers, to their families. By Kahas and by Merari, it says to their families and the house of their fathers. So it switches the order. Most people probably are totally not aware. So here he's going to explain why for Gershon it has the house of their fathers first, and what's the significance of it. The Torah says, lift the head of the sons of Gershon as well, means in addition to Kahas, according to their father's houses and their families. Their father's houses and their families refer to two female profiles built from the 5 states of Gvura. One is called Leah, and the other, drumroll please, Rachel. And again, we're not talking about the people Leah and Rachel. We're talking about the level or the idea that's called Leah and Rachel. Usually, Leah refers to thought and is associated with Bina, the female component of intellect, while Rachel is associated with speech and refers to Malchus, the female component of emotions. Home is a euphemism. Where we stop? Okay, one moment. I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay, Jim, go ahead. Read the next part.
Okay. Well, this is where it's getting a little confusing. The meaning of the phrase according to their families and their father's houses, which is different than what you just said, is as follows. Because you talked about fathers and then families.
I might have gotten it wrong.
It sounds like, I think that's what you said.
I'll look it up.
Let's see, I've written.
I believe that's what you just said, but this is now is having it the different format. This is family in their father's houses. I'll keep going. There are 2 female partzufim constructed out of the 5 states of Gevurah, Leah and Rachel. As is known, the female partzufim are constructed wholly out of states of Gevurah. As we said, the feminine or female is the essence of expression. The 2 principal forms of expression are thought and speech, which respectively are the 2 female partzufim of Leah and Rachel, 2 wives of Jacob, who personifies Zeranpin.
Okay, so as he goes on, it will be their father's house first. I don't know if it's a mistake in the text here or if that's how it is in the original.
Yeah. Okay. The first.
One moment. 14. Home is sometimes a euphemism for wife. Their father's house corresponds to Leah, the higher feminine profile.
Mm-hmm.
The gematria of the word avosam, which means their fathers, is 443. One moment. So it's 400. So we have 2 things. First of all, home, their father's house, refers to the wife. That doesn't mean if it's Rachel or Leah, either one. But the fact that it's their fathers, the word for avosam is 443, and we'll see the connection in a moment. Go ahead, Jim.
The first to be built is Leah, who is called their father's house. This is because our sages call women the home. Leah is the higher of the 2 houses since she absorbs 443 lights, this number being the numerical value for the word for their fathers when written without the vav. The word for fathers, avot, is generally written Aleph Beit Vav Tav, but it may be written without the Vav as well, since the Vav in this case plays the role of a vowel, the cholim. It can also be written as a diacritical mark, like other vowels. That is, in fact, how the word is written throughout the portion of the Torah we are discussing. Since fathers come conceptually before families, their father's house is the higher of the two levels. The number 443 here will be contrasted with a smaller number, 370, associated with Rachel.
Okay, so he says that.
All right, before you continue, you did not make a mistake. If I look back for a second, a couple of pages, on page 692, it says Hashem, said for Gershon, lift them up according to their father's houses and families.
Yes,
So
thank
here
you.
that's written. You did
I
not make.
looked back, as I said, I looked back there, I looked ahead, and it for Gershon, it is the father's house comes first. So
Yeah,
I don't know why it's like that here. I don't know if it's a mistake in the book, or I don't know if it's like that in the original.
It's awkward here the way it's written. As
in the Hebrew on this page, it has families first on both the right and the left.
Okay.
It could be he just talks about the idea in general, not
Not specifically for Gershon and the others.
yeah. Could be. The and as he says, normal is the father's house comes first. The father's house, then comes the family.
Yeah, and Leah comes first before Rachel, so I'd assume
Why does Leah come first?
Leah comes first because she is the essence of she's thought. Thought comes before speech.
Thought comes before speech.
Hopefully.
You have anyone in particular in mind?
Lots of people.
So I know that you're going to say you don't know to this, but we've talked about Leah and Rochel before, and that Leah is at the level of Zeranpin and Rochel's on the other side of it. Different,
Okay.
totally different.
I don't remember that.
That was
Generally,
what
we talk about the
talking about
levels of
Leah.
Leah and Rachel. Generally, Leah is thought and
Yeah.
associated with Bina, and Rachel is speech associated with
Rachel.
Malchus. It could also be, I don't remember learning the front and back, but if so, then the one that's either first or the one that is contained within would be Leah. And the one it's either lower or expressed would be Rachel. Okay, so who cares about 443? 15. Hashem's name Ekyeh 4 times is associated with Bina. Or 4 of Hashem's names Ekyeh. That's a little awkward. 4 of Hashem's, like 4 copies? How do you say that? I'll keep it is. 4 of Hashem's name Ekyeh is associated with Bina, which is associated with Leah. The first letter of Ekyeh is Aleph, whose expanded spelling is 111. And why? Because Aleph is 1 plus 30 plus 80. 4 Alephs of 4 names Ekyeh is 444, the same as the word Avotam, their fathers, with the Kolel. Doing a lot of Kolels today, and we're going to do even more. Okay.
These lights are the same as those of the 4 olives in the 4 divine names Ekyeh, Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, whose numerical value is 444, the same as that of the word for their fathers with the Kolel. When the letter Aleph is spelled out, Aleph, Pei, Lamed, its value becomes 1 plus 80 plus 30, 111. 4 times 111 is 444. The divine name Ekyeh, I shall be, is associated in Kabbalah were the Sifirot of Keser and Bina. Specifically, the Netzach, Hod, Yesod of Ima, the parts of Bina, are expressed by 4 iterations of the name Ekia. The intellect of Nukva is derived from the Aleph of these 4 names.
Okay.
Hmm.
I guess we'll take his word for it. Okay, now so that is what did we just do? We did the name Ekia, 4 of them, or 4 Alephs from 4 names Ekia is 444, the same as the word Avosam. Wasn't it? Yeah, the same as Avosam. And they're associated with Bina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Bina is Leah.
Yep.
We did say Bina in here somewhere, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Parts of
Yes, Bina, it says it right there. 16. Now King David writes unto him, Hodieni Hashem kitzi u'midas yamai mahi. Make known to me, Hashem, my end, and the measure, what? The measure of my days, what is it? It says that the word kitzi, my end, refers to Rachel. Midas, the measure of, refers to Leah. That's what it says elsewhere. But the gematria of Midas, which refers to Leah, the measure of is 444.
Okay. As I explained elsewhere, this is alluded to in the verse, make known to me, O God, my end, and what is the measure of my days. The word for my end refers to the parts of Rachel, while the word for measure of, midat, mem dalet tav, whose numerical value is 444, refers to Leah.
Okay.
Now we're going to start Rachel.
Yeah. Now the second expression, thank you, Jim. The second expression, limish bechosam, according to their families, refers to the level called Rachel. The level of Rachel and the sphere of Malchus corresponds to the expanded spelling of Havaya that equals 52. Even though we have 72, 63, 45, and 52. So 45 corresponds to Ze'er Anpin, and 52 corresponds to Malchus, to Nukva.
Mm-hmm.
Not 52 is also the gematria of Ben, which is son.
Mm-hmm.
The level of Rachel contains 10 sub-sephirot. Each sub-sephira contains one name Havaya. So if there are 10 sub-sephirot, then 52 is going to turn into 520, but we have to point something else out first. I have to redo the order over here. So if we read something inside that's not in the notes, don't panic. I had to redo the order. Abigail, please continue middle of 698.
Okay. As I have.
The word.
The word.
The word.
Thank you. The word for the phrase, according to their families, lemashpach otam, refers to Rachel. The reason for this is as follows. We may divide this word into lamed mem shin and pechet vav tav. Mem, the parts of Rachel comprises 10 sub-sephiros, and each sephira possesses one divine name Havaya, spelled out in such a way that its numerical value is 52. When the divine name Havaya is spelled out, Yud Vav Dalet Hey Hey Vav Vav Hey Hey, its numerical value is 52. This is one of the 4 basic ways the name Havaya may be spelled out, as we have explained previously. Each of these 4 spellings of the name Havaya is associated with one of the 4 basic Sephira groups, 72 with Chachma, 63 with Bina, 45 with Amidos, and 52 with Malchus.
Thank you. Hannah was the mother of the prophet Shmuel. We read at the beginning of the book of Shmuel of her pain at being childless before he was born. Her husband Elkanah asked her, am I not better to you than 10 sons? We just said that the name of 52 is the gematria 52 is Ben, a son. These are the 10 names of Havaya of 52 in the level of Rachel. Okay, go ahead.
This is alluded to in the verse, I am not better to you than 10 sons. The numerical value of the word for son, Ben, which is Beit Nun, is 52. The 10 sons in this verse allude to the 10 spellings out of the name Havaya in the 10 sub-sephiros of the Partsuf Rochel.
Now, 10 names of 52 is a total of 520. Add the kolel, and we're going to get a little convoluted. Add the kolel of each name, and we have 530. We will then add 5, either for the 5 states of Chesed and Gvura, for a total of 535, or for the last letter of Havaya, the letter Hey. Whichever reason we had 5, we now have 535. Okay, go ahead.
The numerical value of all these names together, 10 times 52 equals 520. If we add the kolel of each of the 10 names Havaya, this gives an additional 10, giving us a total of 530. If we add to this the number 5, signifying the 5 states of Chesed, together with the 5 states of Gevura, this gives 535. Alternatively, we can add to 530 the female Partsuf, represented by the final letter Hey of the name Havaya, and whose numerical value is 5. This also gives us a total of 535.
Okay, why 535? Number 20. The word lemishbechosam, according to their families, can be divided into lamed mem shin and pei ches vav taf mem. The gematria of the last 4 letters is 80 plus 8 plus 6 plus 400 plus 40 is 534, is it?
Yes,
400, 480, 520,
534.
534. Thank you. And with the kolel, it's 535. It matches the value of the name 52 as calculated convolutedly in number with whatever, not convoluted. It's calculated with all the extras in number 19. Okay, so that's the. Okay, go ahead, Abigail, read the next paragraph.
This number is the numerical value of the second set of letters into which we divided the word for according to their families, Pei, Het, Vav, Tav, Mem, together with the kolel. Thus this number represents the partsuf of Rachel.
Okay, and the first 3 letters, Lamed Mem Shin, has a gematria of 30 plus 40 plus 300 equals 370. These are the 370 lights that shine in Malchus, which is also connected with Rachel. Go ahead.
The number of lights that she absorbs is 370, which is the numerical value of the first set of letters into which we divide the word for according to their families, Lamed, Mem, Shin.
Okay, so what we just learned, thank you, is that the Torah says Levei Savosam, Limishvechosam, according to the house of their fathers, according to their families. And for Gershon, it's in that order that according to the house of their fathers, Leveis Avosam is associated with Leah. And we said how, because Leveis is Avosam is 444, and the level of Leah, I guess Bina, the Aleph expanded spelling is 111 times 4 for the name Ekia, 4 times. also 444. And then the next line, according to their fathers, refers to the level of Rachel, because what did I say? Families, Lemishmechosim, according to their families, refers to Rachel, because the end of it, Avosam, has a Gematria at 535, and 535 is the 52 times 10, 52 for Malchus, expanded spelling of Havaya, 52 times 10, and we said add another 10 for the Kolels, and another 5 for, we gave 2 options, and first 3 letters, Lamed Mem Shin, is 370 for the Shin Ayin Nahirin, the 370 lights, bright lights, supernal lights. We will continue with that next week about the 370 lights. I did find today something. We've had it before, by the way. Vishiasha, Yonek, Al Khur Pesen. We probably had it several times. It says that the suckling, the infant, will play at the den of the viper.
Right.
So the word will play is Vishi Asha, is Shin Ayin 370, Shin Ayin 370. So they're referred to the 370 lights. We may have had it at other times. We may have had it a few other times, but this is something that's mentioned. So I was able to find it. I didn't want to lose it, so that's why I copied it here in the Hebrew, and then I translated. I found it at Chabadpedia. In any case, this is all Gershon. It's all about Gvura being from Levi, and it's all about building Malchus, and I guess building up Malchus for and the Gvura of Malchus.
Mhm.
I might say any questions, but I won't.
This is the
I'll
last.
save myself.
I'm so happy this is recorded, and I will go back to this when I need to understand it.
One moment, please. We'll do a stop share. Okay. So next week, God willing, I expect to have class. We expect to be back in the rotation.